The boss donated $25 and said, "Can't wait for the Castlevania block, one of my favorite game series. Good luck to all the runners." And speaking of the runners, our next runner is ready right now. Let's send it to the stage for Castlevania Bloodlines, ran by Clage.
All right. Real quick roll call. My name's Clage. I've got some people on the couch behind me who may or may not be friends.
I'm Breakdown.
Is PJ.
I'm Rom Scout.
All right. First and foremost, we are playing on expert mode. Usually you would have to beat the game to unlock it. The Konami code works, so we just did that. Who's our character?
The winner was John Morris.
All right. Fantastic.
Yeah. Guy.
All right. Time will start as soon as this next screen comes up. So in about 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so as you saw, there's two characters in Bloodlines, John Morris and Eric Lecard. John Morris is best described as the power burly character. As you can see, he's actually a bear in a man costume. And Lecard is much more speedy, agile, takes more damage, but can move a little bit faster, has some neat movement options to play with. So the big difference in Bloodlines compared to other classic Castlevanias is that we have a unique third upgrade to the whip and or spear if you were using Lecard. We'll see if we get it out of this book in the wall here. We did not. This is just a 50-50 drop. You can't manipulate it in any way. Instead of the fully upgraded whip, I now have 20 extra sub-weapon ammo, which in a marathon situation, we can deal. Once I get the fully upgraded whip, which you'll see, the only other way to collect it is with this second level whip. I have to break 30 candles that do not contain sub-weapons. On the 30th candle, another upgrade token will drop down, and I'll basically get a giant fancy blue plasma whip. So you'll be seeing that here a little bit later in stage 1. Right now we have our first sub-boss. I hope you enjoy bosses and sub-bosses. This game has 22 of them combined over 6 stages. Unblockable setup? Nope, not quite. Good effort, Service.
Yeah, some other differences you'll see if you're used to other Castlevanias, but not this one, is that you can actually jump up the stairs and also whip in 5 directions, which
Correct.
is very different than like the NES games you were just watching.
Yep. So the main speed tech in Bloodlines is, again, this extra fully powered upgrade I'm going to be getting in the near future. It comes not only with a higher damaging whip, it also comes with a specialized sub-weapon that uses a lot more sub-weapon ammo, but is very powerful. The caveat to this special third upgrade is that once you get hit once, both these upgrades are gone, and here it is. So you're going to get to see this now. So if I take any damage now, I will lose this blue whip and the special sub-weapon that goes with it. You're going to see another mechanic here. We have a whip swing attachment. This is actually the fastest movement that John Morris has. However, you can only do it when you have a ceiling available. And yeah, that was fancy. It was unnecessary, but we'll take it. You can actually get your fastest movement by extending that whip as far as possible. Hey, 1-up. That might be useful in a marathon. Let's hope we don't need it. Hi, Bone Dragon. Bye, Bone Dragon. That's the super sub weapon I was talking about. It's very powerful. It hits as hard as the plasma whip, but it tracks. And it tracks to anything and everything that has a hitbox, including things that aren't actually hitboxes. So think SG&G crossbow, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. This is our first boss, Armor Battler. He is one of the most random bosses in the game, but when you can outrange him, nice charge.
I don't think I've ever seen that attack.
Yeah.
That's the one of the rarest
once.
Wow.
there's your marathon luck, live and in living color.
That's real nice.
Now, in a normal situation, that would actually basically force a reset. I can't really take any outside damage that I don't want with this run. For a marathon, obviously, we have a lot of backup strats to deal with not having the fully upgraded whip and sub-weapons. So
It takes, what, 30 candles to refill the upgrade?
correct. So now, this is number 1, 29 more candles that don't have sub-weapons from now. I will get the whip back.
It's really nice of him in this game to label the sub-weapon candles.
Yeah, if you'll notice, the candles that contain sub-weapons are big single candles, whereas everything else is a double candle. And I won't actually be able to keep count as I'm going through. I can if I'm using my fully optimized route, but this is more just I'll have a feel for when I'm going to get the fully upgraded weapon back. For those of you who are excited for Circle of the Moon to come up, I hope you enjoy this song. You're going to be hearing it a lot. It's a sinking old sanctuary.
Yeah, it takes up like half the castle pretty much.
Yes, it does. So this is our first auto-scroller going on. The auto-scroller distribution in this Castlevania is interesting. There's a ton of them in stage 2 and 3, and then we're done. So this is actually a pretty good time to fit in a donation or two if you want. We're just going to slowly climb and outrun the water here.
Yeah, Neon Alpha with a $200 donation who said, "Let's go, Morris."
Thanks, Neon.
Also, Obi Stephs donated $5, said, "One last donation for my favorite Castlevania game, Bloodlines. The Genesis always rocks with iron blue intention."
Good choice.
Also, Tails Fox 88, not related to Castlevania, but they donated $1,000.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Looking forward to Dragon Warrior 3 with the comment, "Command, command, command, SGDQ attacks. Excellent move."
All right,
That
now-
has done well in supporting Doctors Without Borders.
Now we have a mini boss rush. Water Mage here has an interesting mechanic. He will always teleport to where you aren't facing, so unfortunately for him, Castlevania hitboxes work on the backside. So
He tried.
rest in peace, Water Mage. Hey,
shouldn't
that's
have.
useful. Watch the right side of your screen. There's going to be a sub-boss. He's gone. That's actually a glitch. It makes him despawn and causes Big Brother here to appear on screen. He's kind of going to appear on screen. Just kidding, I lied.
His axe got in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That counts.
Three sub-bosses. They're dead. Sorry. I hope you didn't want to see anything
Actually, we don't
entertaining
know
out
what
there.
happened to the other one. He went on vacation for
He
all
left,
I know.
yeah.
He's swimming. He's at the bottom of the water here. Everything's cool.
They just went to live with a nice farm family.
Right. So here we have Medusa heads, of course, Castlevania standard. Medusa heads in this are actually pretty tame. They're a lot slower than in other Castlevanias, and they never come in pairs at any time. So they have a fixed interval spawn, so they're actually really easy to deal with in this game.
Yeah, until the crazy fireball shooting Medusas.
Look, can you just not bring things up that make PJ Wrath happen just once? So we're gonna make our way down here. Basically, we killed Water Mage, and all his water has to go somewhere, so it's going to fall down here. If you've noticed, locales and Bloodlines are a little different. We're actually traveling across Europe during the World War I times, so you actually go to different parts of Europe for every stage instead of spending most of your time in the castle. This next section is probably one of the most difficult and technical for Morris, so we'll see how we go. These Mace guys have two different hitboxes, the helmet and then their body. If you hit the body, they die almost instantly. The helmet can take a beating, so like right there. So we're gonna get rid of this. Hopefully get rid of Bone Dragon without much effort. Thank you, Sub-Weapon, for
Good
actually doing
Sub-Weapon.
your
Ooh,
job. Jump Whip. Get rid of next Bone Pillar. Beautiful. Sub-Weapon is cooperating
Yeah.
for now. That will come back to bite me later when I really need it, but that's all right. All right, another one here. Beautiful. You'll notice I actually jump a lot with John Morris. He is very, very slightly faster jumping than he is walking. For about every 100 jumps moving forward as opposed to walking forward, you will gain roughly a second. Lecard is the opposite. He's actually faster walking than jumping. Up next, we have our second boss, the Stone Golem. We're going to utilize a little blast processing here and lag this game quite a bit. The Stone Golem is a huge gatekeeper for Morris in terms of the speed run. I'm going to do a slightly less optimal fight just to guarantee that we get things going here. I can actually kill him before he fully stands up and gets to walk forward, but it requires really, really ridiculous RNG and really, really just frame timing here to get every hit in. So this is kind of my older strat that's much more marathon friendly. But as you're seeing, the Plasma Whip, it does a lot of damage. So bosses kind of get eradicated.
I mean, bosses go probably close to twice as fast as they do with Lecard.
Yes,
for Morris.
easily. Morris is actually faster in terms of my times in this game and for the tool-assisted runs solely by the damage he does because there are so many bosses in this game. There's a lot of sections Lecard gets to skip that Morris doesn't get to. Hi, Harpies. These are the most random enemies in the game. They also have a super unique mechanic. We'll see if you get to catch it at some point during this stage. When Harpies take fatal damage, sometimes their heads pop off and they do this bleed animation that lags the game out like nothing I've ever seen. There's no rhyme or reason for it. It doesn't matter how much damage you do or what kind of damage you do. It's just a random thing. And once their head pops off, they are uncontrollable. They become very difficult to deal with. So going to pass through using hit stop there. Like a lot of Castlevania games, if an enemy is in hit stun, you can actually walk through their hitbox without being harmed. So Mummy Room here, we're going to get some whip swinging on. You are fully invulnerable during the whip swing, which makes it incredibly good. It's also the most damaging attack in the game. Did I mention there's sub-bosses in this game? This is just a good old-fashioned Castlevania Bone Dragon that is also a sub-boss. Where are you going?
That was cute.
Yeah, good play. I'm impressed.
He tried.
Got his words in.
And if you haven't figured out where we are in Rome now, we are in the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And right now it is currently doing its best showing of mode 3.5, as I like to call it. So this is actually some really neat parallax-style scrolling the game does. The unfortunate part is that you'll notice how the platforms kind of wave and wobble back and forth with this. It's actually possible to catch the very edge of one of these platforms and be standing perfectly fine, and when the parallax goes back and forth, you can actually just fall off for no good reason. So I try to stay near the middle of all these platforms. It's pretty generous, but it's definitely one of those things I've had friends or watched people do blind runs of the game, and they'll be standing until they aren't, and they get very, very confused, rightfully so. Yeah. So again, stage 3 is Harpies and auto-scrolling, which probably makes it my least favorite stage to speedrun, all in all. But this next room's a pretty fun room if we can hit everything right here. So more mummies. Going to throw an item crash axe to get these out of the way. Try and swing up the stairs. Very nice. We're going to wait for that bandage. Kind of an inconvenient locale. I don't like that location. Okay, good.
I like that you can just leave the whip out and it'll just continuously damage them.
So it's a really important mechanic to learn is, especially for a lot of bosses in this game, you can actually attack faster than they can come out of hit stun. So learning to hold the whip like that a little bit longer actually helps your timing. And it also sets up a cancel window where you can press the button again and whip faster than you would normally just letting the entire animation play out. So we're going to have some Bone Gargoyle friends who want to have a word with us as we continue to climb the Leaning Tower. Leaning Tower seems a lot taller than I remember, but what would I know?
You've seen the photos with the floaty platforms outside the Leaning Tower.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
You know, standard issue.
I think there's just a really bad earthquake and now apocalypse happening. Back to back.
Right. So we're going to go up one more auto-scrolling section here. A few more Bone Gargoyles are going to pass. I'm going to basically stay a little bit lower on these platforms because they spawn basically even with your height. That makes it a lot easier to do with this pattern. I missed one, but we'll let him get a little close, have some fun.
You'll see when he actually managed to kill one on screen, it lagged the game a lot, so that's why he's trying to kill as many of these off screen as possible.
Yep. It's a minor amount of lag, but it's an auto-scroller, so we save everything we can. That candle actually contains an axe. I want the axe for this fight. When you have the fully upgraded sub-weapon, if you pick up the same sub-weapon, fully upgraded whip, excuse me, if you pick up the same sub-weapon you're already carrying, you actually upgrade to the super sub-weapon again. So that's how the sub-weapon routing works in this game. Gargoyle Bat here is very noisy, but completely fixed patterns. If you break his cycles, you can't do any more damage than the cycle allows, so we have to take 3 cycles no matter what. And that's basically a perfect fight.
Nice. Yeah,
Very nice.
Now for the good song.
Yeah.
Yes, now it's time for Iron Doom Intention. Unfortunately, it also comes in the by far the scariest and most dangerous stage in the game, but it's also the most fun and technical when things go right. So stage 4, when I originally started running this game, I referred to as the Widowmaker because it used to be by far my biggest gatekeeping point, and still can be. So, but this is a really fun stage when it gets to go right. This is going to be the I have no game sound suddenly.
Same.
Huh.
Just missed.
Thank you. There we go. All right, we're good. So I'm actually going to lose the whip on purpose in this stage to set up a damage boost. It's one of the only times that damage boosting in this game is preferable to your usual keeping the whip. As you see, you basically have to fight everything in your way because losing the whip costs you way too much damage on bosses and sub-bosses. That's fun. And so that damage boost is basically going to let me utilize, or that damage boost will set up a later damage boost and then allow me to get the whip and sub-weapon back for a critical section later on. So here's kind of a little dangerous room. We'll see what the skeleton has to say about us getting up on his stairs. Yeah, that's par for the course. All right. So up next, we have a zip. It's one of the only zips that works in this game from a practical standpoint.
Nice.
Thank you. This climb is one of Morris's more technical sections, so forgive me if I'm a little quiet, but this is where being able to jump off and on of stairs is super valuable. Lecard in this section is very boring. He has a super jump, so he just pole vaults through all of this. It's not nearly as entertaining, in my opinion.
Well, the Medusa heads can still have a word with him.
Oh,
sometimes.
they definitely can.
They have lots of words to say.
Yeah, none of them we can repeat on stream. All right. This next section, as Murph always liked to put it, terrifies him every time he sees it, even though it usually goes fine, but knock on wood.
Yeah, none of these jumps seem like they should work.
Yeah, they shouldn't, but they does. All right. More sub-bosses. Say hello to the creature. He also wants to be a Belmont/Morris, but he's not very good at it. All right. Up next is the most technical trick in the game, so bear with me. Part 1. Part 2. Come on, buddy. Help me out. Thank you.
And we're through.
And we're
Beautiful.
nice. The blade skip, actually, if one of you would like to explain blade skip, since this is the nightmare room.
So the blades actually don't have a full hitbox around the entire thing, as you saw. They actually just have 8 points around. That's like in the center of the blade, and then at each corner of the blade part. So.
And each one's like a pixel.
Yeah, it's
big.
four equally
it's a little
spaced
pixel.
pixels. Yeah.
So you're able to jump in between those pixels, and as long as you know where those hitboxes are, you can stay in between them the entire time.
All right, so we're through the scariest section of the game. Gear Steamer here has one of the highest health pools in the game, so he's going to take a while for us to whittle down. He does have patterns that I can completely keep in check as long as I don't miss any hits. Looking good so far. He's going to come back down. Beautiful.
Nice.
Nicely done.
Awesome.
Stage 4 is utterly terrifying. You saw I took a lot of damage, and that's very common in that stage. It's one of the stages I can actually take damage in due to setting up that damage boost by losing the whip. Lecard takes about 2 bars more damage on average than Morris does, so I would have died guaranteed in that stage. So that's kind of the nice part about Morris. He takes hits like a champ. Just gonna move on to stage 5. This is a game sound again. There we go. This is one of my most favorite and also most hated. This run has really the only major mistake in my current PB, and it haunts me quite a bit, but we'll get to that. This pollen that's hitting me does no damage. You'll see I don't lose the whip. It just reverses left and right on my controller, and it does at a fixed interval, so I just switch back from left to right when it runs out, and we're good to go. This is a fun little skip with a whip attachment here. Got to jump really quick so this orb doesn't hit us. And then one of my favorite enemies, the Vine Monkeys. They're actually super annoying as a casual playthrough. They take way too much damage for what they are, but Super Sub-Weapon makes short work of them.
Yeah, your sub-weapon's been doing good work this round.
Don't taunt it, PJ.
He's
don't taunt
fine.
it.
What a good friend.
The chandeliers are environmental hazard, obviously. Environmental hazards one-shot enemies, so we're gonna set up some axe armors here to fall for some good old-fashioned fighting game traps. So back up, sir. Thank you very much. That's a constant throughout all of Bloodlines. Environmental hazards will do damage to you. They will one-shot enemies, with the exception of the giant blades that I skipped. But the little friend that damage boosts me is too short to get hit by it anyway, so he's good to go. We have a big old sword knight here. We're not really interested in talking to him, so we'll move on.
The enemies in this stage have a ton of health.
Yes, they do. This is a fun little skip here. Bye. Again, just utilizing being able to walk through an enemy while they're in hit stun. And then this room is another Indiana Jones spectacle here. Don't you do it. All right, we're good.
Real nice loft on that.
Yeah,
throw.
no, he went for it. I'm impressed. These dudes have cannons for arms. All right, beautiful. This room, not quite an auto-scroller, but we do have to climb this spiral staircase. This room is where my PB that should have made this so I never had to run Morris again has a glaring error, and that's that I end up falling down these stairs, losing about 5 seconds in a section that I never really make mistakes in, but, you know, anyone who has a PB will tell you there's something that they can be very upset about with it, and this one's mine. Right there, I would have fallen. This mini-boss is actually the same mini-boss that we despawned earlier in Stage 2. He has an interesting little caveat. That giant punch he did there, if you kill him while he's in that attack animation, the entire room becomes an unblockable hitbox. It's a very strange glitch. And I've actually lost runs to that until I read further into the tool-assisted run and found out how that works. So you just want to make sure you don't defeat him while he's in hitbox animation. Wheelie Robot there is a really cool enemy. Sorry you didn't get to see him very long. And now we come to the optical illusion boss. Do you see two faces or a pillar? The answer is going to be both. So this boss actually takes static damage. Nothing, doesn't matter what you hit it with. It can be the strongest attack or the weakest attack. You're going to do 2 bars no matter what. Ideally, we want 4 hits on every cycle here. Good. So we're set to go from here. This is definitely a boss that if you don't know what's going on, gets really weird. If you don't know how to spawn the orb shots there, you get to play Gradius while trying to fight that boss. And Morris does not have options on him. All right. Up next, we're going to come to the Princess of Moss. Spoilers, Moss is a mistranslation, and I'll let you all see why here in a minute.
But Mossula is such a good boss in Zelda.
Yeah.
It is. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right, so first off, she really is a princess, but we're going to go ahead and hit her with sub-weapon anyway. And if we do this right, this will go very quickly.
Thank you, Morris, but your princess is Mothra.
Correct. We missed one. That's fine. Land on that platform. That'll save some time. Perfect.
I wonder if it's even possible to see those pollen shots when you're playing with RF as a kid.
No, it's not. Because I tested earlier on RF when I was doing controller surgery with Omni, and no, you can't see it at all. So that's going to bring us to our final stage, and you might be thinking, this has been really quick.
Way ahead of estimate, right?
Yeah, the final stage is a third of the game.
Metal Slug Syndrome.
Yep. The final stage, sound? Question mark. PJ, could you stop this, please?
Nope, I can't.
All right. Well, that's fine. There we go. All right.
Yeah.
I am going to take another intentional hit here. This isn't so much for a damage boost as it is safety purposes. You might have noticed the Plasma Whip has kind of slow startup on it, and that's actually a hindrance in here. But welcome to Dracula's House of Gimmicks. No, your stream's not broke. Everything's fine here. Perfectly normal, average room in Dracula's castle.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, most Konami games on the Genesis have like giant tech demo stages at some point in them, and this is the one for this game.
Yes, absolutely.
This is definitely something I've seen people blame on emulation in the past. And it's like, oh, I have to get a real cart for this not to be messed up.
Yep. That room is really scary until you kind of know what to do. Speaking of gimmicks, hi, I'm on the ceiling. Left and right are not reversed here. Up and down are, however, so I have to actually hold down to jump up, off and on the stairs. This section is terrifying in looks, not so much in practice. And our good buddy Armor Battler, who we saw in the first stage, and he did his fancy charge to give us a hit early on. He's going to be back, and he brought all his brothers, but unfortunately their armor is already kind of rusted, so they thankfully only take 1 hit now. You kind of hear him. He's creeping. Hi, buddy. And now everything's fine. Oh, God, why? It's okay. We're good. We're good. This hallway's probably over. Please, no. Okay, everything's good here. Stop! All right, everything's fine. This hallway will end one day. Maybe, possibly. The mirror is this game's version of the Rosary from other Castlevania games. And there's our powered up whip and sub-weapon. Sub-weapon is a bro, but unfortunately we're going to need good friend Axe for Death. Say hi to Death. Death's a nerd and wants to play cards.
So say hi to Death and all of his friends.
Correct.
Yeah.
Pick a card, any card. We're going to go fight Gear Steamer again. So we're actually going to refight the bosses from stages 2, 3, and 4. Thankfully, Konami had a slight bit of mercy. They all have half health now, so they're going to die very quickly.
Part of me, whenever I'm watching a run of this game, always roots for this boss just a little bit because he has a really hilarious animation.
He
when
does.
dies.
If Gearboss kills you, he goes into this adorable dance where he spins around and flails his little gear arms, and I highly recommend looking it up.
The victory dance is too good.
It's quite good. All right, now we'll go deal with Bat Gargoyle. Again, same thing. He has 3 cycles. You can't damage him more than the maximum amount allotted for each cycle, but now we just do things a little bit quicker. He's completely invulnerable while rising up like that until he goes from left to right. You can't actually hit him, which is why I just sit there.
Yes, this stage is where Morris picks up all of the time.
Correct.
Card.
If
I think you were saying there was a comparison graph on the task.
Yes, there is, and it's called How Far Ahead is Spear Guy, and it's literally like just destructively ahead until the last stage, and Morris is like, nee. All right, what do we got next? So Death shoots like a stormtrooper. Yeah, good effort. We applaud it.
Yeah. In normal mode, those cards are actually heals. They
Yes.
give you like a bunch of meat.
Yeah,
but
the meat buffet card is mighty, but Expert does not allow such things. Now we get to free fight Stone Golem, except now there's no water. We're starting on the floor, so this fight is actually really scary. So we have to whittle him down much more difficultly, and he has all his attacks available to him. He's not just going to sit there. Such as Ceiling Smash, which is the bane of my existence in this refight. All right. But as you can see,
Yeah.
lots of damage. Hey, come back here. There we go. We'll take that. We'll take that every time.
I love that first hit that just does 60% of his health.
Yeah. This section right here over here is a complete safe spot. If I want to be extra safe, I can just kind of live over here. In a more PB attempt, if he's out here in no man's land, you just have to deal with it and hope you don't get put in an unblockable situation with Ceiling Smash. So Death's going to fire off one more shot at us. Fun fact about Death, he has the least health of any boss in the entire game. So count them, there's going to be 5 whole hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bye, Death.
Beautiful.
Nicely done.
Maybe it wasn't Death. Maybe it was just an ordinary skeleton in a robe.
Death's on holiday.
Death is on vacation, and he got the intern to fill in.
Track just goes to stage 1, hires one of the guys. Look, you're on, kid. But
Suspended him by some cables from the
Yep.
ceiling.
so this is Elizabeth Bathory, the Blood Countess. She's actually the main antagonist of this game. Just kidding, she's Medusa. Medusa has the most health in the game at 256, so...
Yes, if you remember the other 2 Medusa fights from the previous 2 runs, this is the opposite.
Medusa used Tail Whip. It wasn't very effective. Now she wants to do... Come on, reach for it. You gotta want it. You didn't want it bad enough. Good try.
I remember when Tail Whip was a dangerous attack until you realized you could just take a few steps away.
Yeah. Younger Clage was a routing idiot. So now Elizabeth is going to put us into what is a neat gimmick that goes on for far too many cycles. I'm sure you can all figure out how this works. The only thing that's going to damage her is this last hit that destroys the last orb of each cycle. So donations are prime right now.
All right, you've probably heard of this man. $50 from Murphigator.
Oh, hey.
Is that a freaking bear? I also received a $250 donation from Yomi. And they just said, Dear Clage, oink, love chat.
Oink.
The Kloss donated $10 and says, I'll do my best impression here. What is a Clage? A magnificent little pile of speedruns. But enough talk. Let's donate.
Thank you very much.
And Crafty Murloc with $5 said, Hey Clage, good luck on the run and have fun. Also, hi to all the Team PLC folks and friends at the event.
Thank you very much.
Devil REI donated $15 and said, donating for Team PLC and Best Castlevania Bloodlines. Don't let PJ break anything, though that may be asking too much.
As a quick shout out to Team PLC, I just want to give a lot of love to Mecha Richter. He can't actually be here this event. He's had quite a bit of family stuff going on, so please give him lots of love. All right. Elizabeth's gone. We are going to do the dance of exploding countesses. Good dance. Bye. All right. Now you get to hear a neat crossover. We're going to play Simon's theme, even though there are no Belmonts in this game, so enjoy the entire 13 seconds you're going to get to hear it.
Bearmont.
Bearmont, yes, correct. So we are actually on to our final fight here. Dracula is going to have 3 forms. This is unheard of, I'm sure, in Castlevania history, but the first form might involve him teleporting and throwing projectiles at you.
Real quick, a $1,500
Oh,
donation.
wow. Thank you.
That came in from Sonal, who said, "Hello GDQ, I love watching my favorite games getting wrecked. I wish all the runners good RNG, and let us not forget to kill the animals and save the frames."
Thank you very much. So the nice part about this teleport-style Dracula fight, this is scripted. There is no randomness to where he goes, and the hitbox on the whip and spear is so good that if you just do the same jump timing, you'll destroy anything he throws. This is another section where Morris gains a ton of time because obviously waiting for these teleport cycles is very slow. Phase 2 is what I like to call Diet Shaft. It's a wizard. He's not near as buff as Shaft, so, you know, nice getaway. Where are we going?
This is actually Death's other intern.
Yeah.
And you can't kill him any faster than that. Those projectiles have to leave the screen, so that's good. And now we get the final form. Someone really liked Zombor from Chrono Trigger, even though that game hadn't quite been released yet, so enjoy him in Bloodlines.
It's also the same final boss form as Portrait of Ruin.
Yes. As Portrait of Ruin is basically the plot and spiritual sequel to this. That hit was annoying, but we'll be fine. Okay. Uh-oh. We're fine for now. All right, we're gonna have to be a little careful on final form here because I held right when I should not have been holding right. Thank you for cooperating, and we're good.
Nice, clutch.
We had to add some suspense, right?
Yeah.
And that is Castlevania Bloodlines. Time will be when the final orb spawns and we grab it. As a shout out to Stansky, I'm going to jump way too early and miss and make it fall on me instead. Big shout outs to Stansky. I would have never been able to route this game without his original work back on Lacard way back in the day. So, time.
An even 30-30.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a really good time for this.
Yeah.
Anything in the 30-minute bracket is absolutely incredible for a marathon run of this game.
And
so.
especially without getting the early whip drop in stage 1.
Yeah, that's basically 10 seconds immediately off the card. So that's Castlevania Bloodlines. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for the donations. It's always an honor to do these events. And hope you enjoyed. Enjoy Circle of the Moon next. And that's all I got for you.
First time in a marathon for it, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
Going to be a good time. So thank you so much, guys.
Oh yeah, Clage everyone with Castlevania Bloodlines. That was fantastic. Got a few more donations for him here that I just didn't quite have time for during that run. So let's get to them now. TTSD donated $5 and said, "Hey GDQ, pardon my cruddy Canadian currency, just wanted to throw one in there for my favorite Castlevania streamer. Whip those bosses good, Clage." And LolCam Alpha donated $50 and said, "I have been looking forward to watching a bear in a man suit play cards with Death all week long. Good luck, Clage. You got this." Donation to Runner's Choice there. Draconic Lithion donated $150 and said, "Hey, Clage, I tried to come up with a Castlevania pun, but I couldn't crack one out. Here's $75 for you and $75 for PJ's Choice." Anonymous donated $200. Thank you so much. And they just said, "Bloodlines is rad. Whip those Draculas and keep running for the docks." And we'll be right back with more Summer Games Done Quick 2018 after these brief ad messages from Twitch. Welcome back to Summer Games Done Quick 2018, benefiting Doctors Without Borders, aka MSF. Doctors Without Borders is a medical humanitarian organization working in more than 60 countries around the world. They provide assistance to populations in distress, victims of natural disasters, or armed conflict. They can do so irrespective of race, religion, creed, or political convictions, and you can find out more about them at doctorswithoutborders.org. If you would like to donate to our event, all donations go directly to Doctors Without Borders. Just head on over to gamesdonequick.com, click that donate button. Edward Malice donated $25 and says, I love making things harder for the runners. Magician mode, please. Referring to the bid war for our next game, that is to make it fighter mode all bosses versus magician mode all bosses. Honestly, I believe that bid war is closing in mere seconds, so if you want to affect the outcome of that at all, you'll really have to rush to get in those donations. But I thought I would mention it one more time last minute. Let's head out a little bit further in the schedule there, though, so that you've got some more time to donate. Dragon Warrior 3 will be happening after Castlevania Circle of the Moon, and we still have an open bid war for the hero name. That can be 8 characters, no numbers. Feel free to leave a suggestion or contribute your money toward one of the existing ones. And after that, we have Save or Kill the Animals during Super Metroid. I believe that's a map completion %. So yeah, plenty of bids out there for you to put your money toward when you do go to gamesdonequick.com and enter a donation. Some more love for Castlevania out there. Arthur, the Last Ancient, donated $10 and said, Castlevania was a big source of frustration when I was a kid, particularly the instance that was left out today, the infamous Simon's Quest. Yet it still leaves me satisfied to see these games being done in. Much respect and good luck to the runners. And thank you to Prolix, the announcer, for that sweet voice. Donation to Announcer's Choice. Hope I caught your name right. Yes, thank you, you did. Excellent. I appreciate it. Matt Cava donated $25 and said, amazing Castlevania block thus far. Always a blast at every GDQ. Here's another $25 for the upcoming Circle of the Moon Magician mode. And Shadows Bro 998 donated $25 and said, I may be new to this channel, however, I love these old games and would like to thank you very much for bringing back some memories from my childhood. Good luck, have fun, and do your best. Thank you, Shadows Bro, and it's great to know that we have another new viewer out there. We really hope you enjoy the entire event. We'll be going live all week long from Minneapolis, Minnesota, speedrunning some of your favorites, probably some things you've never heard of as well. But yeah, 24/7, keep it tuned in here and we'll have speedruns for you through Saturday. Uberfunk83 with a $20 donation said, super happy to be helping all these fellow gamers contribute towards such a wonderful cause in Doctors Without Borders. Head to donate during the Castlevania block, my favorite series of all time. Keep up the amazing work, and hats off to all the great runners and the entire GDQ staff for making such a great event happen. Thanks, Uberfunk. Neo Matamune donated $10, and I just wanted to read their comment because who can't identify with this? Hello from France, a GDQ, typo there. It really made my day at work to watch all those awesome runners.